Hello and welcome back. So I've got an afternoon off this afternoon. It's a decent day. I'm going to pick up where I left off with the last video and carry on getting some paint down on the van. I've got to get some more on the bonnet like I was saying, and I'm going to actually get some on the sides today, hopefully. I've washed all the side of the van down, so that's virtually ready to go. I've got to wipe it down with some spirit and some panel wipes. I've got some cure rust I want to put on some of this stuff. There's some rust spots which I've re-rubbed down, so I'm going to apply some of the cure rust, which converts rust into a surface that you can paint over and bits and bobs. So I'm going to get that on there. I'll show you I've done that. It's just a little brush on liquid. Yeah, I'll make a start. I'll get some bits ready and I'll make a start. Okay, let's get some of this cure rust stuff on. As you can see, just down here is a little bit of rust patch which I've rubbed down. I've got a big rust spot there, which I'm going to treat after I'll have to see what I can do with that, whether I weld a plate on there and make it round or fill that, I'm not sure yet. But I've got various other little bits here which look like stone chips of rust which I've rubbed down. But with this stuff, you literally just brush this onto the affected area. It's literally like water, so you don't need a lot of it. I did notice another little bit up here as well, which I will do. Yeah, it's very watery. I'll quickly rub the excess off there because I don't really want that running down the paintwork, and then I'll be back. Okay, so this is the actual epoxy primer that I'm using, the Jotun Penguard HB, sorry. It's a 2-pack epoxy primer, so you've got your catalyst or your hardener, and this is the special thinners that you need for this. So I'm going to mix up, I think I'm going to mix up about 1 litre. Time I've probably got from the side, or the bonnet round to the side, I could probably come over and give the bonnet another coat, but I'll see how it goes. I'll see how the dry is, or how dry it is. Let's give this a... So this has got to be mixed at a 4:1, so a 4:1, 4 parts, 1 part, so I'm going to mix 800, 200, and then I want to thin it at 20%, so I'm going to put 200ml thinners in it. I think that's right anyway. Let's give this a mix up first. Jokes already. Cool, that stinks, it's really strong. Okay. So I want 800 millilitres of this. So that is 800 millilitres of that. I should have got a rubbish bag, shouldn't I? Then we want 200 millilitres of the hardener. is like treacle. This is really thick. So that's 200 millilitres of that. You see how thick that is? It's literally like treacle. Just give that a little quick mix up, and then I want to thin this at 20%, so it'll be just over 200 millilitres, because obviously with the hardener in there, it's 1200, isn't it? No, it's 1000. What am I talking about? So I want 200 millilitres of thinner. Which is there. Okay, I'm going to mix this all up, then you have to leave it for half an hour before you can actually use it. So I won't bore you all with me mixing it up and leaving it for half an hour. Yeah, I'll be back when I'm ready to start roller painting it on. Okay, so that's been half an hour now. Paint is mixed up, it's cured, done whatever it's got to do for half an hour. So it's now ready to get on the van. I'll give it another wipe down just to make sure it's okay, make sure there's no dust or anything landed on it within 30 minutes. So yeah, let's give it another coat. Okay, so that is one coat. That went on a lot better than my first attempt. My first attempt I only thinned down 10% and it was far too thick. So thinning at 20% is definitely the way to go. A lot more coats, thinner paint, it's actually covering and it's looking a lot flatter as well. Typically, it's as if they can smell wet paint from about 400 miles away, and then they just come and it's all part and parcel, I suppose, of painting outside, isn't it? So anyway, I'm gonna let that dry for sort of 10 minutes or so, and then I'll give it another coat. I've got quite a bit of paint to use, so yeah, I'll keep going until I use all the paint or it gets too thick where I can't put any more on. So I think I'll be okay doing that. We'll find out, I suppose. Okay, so that is the second coat on, and it's coming up pretty well, to be honest with you. I think the paint has reacted with something that was on the bodywork. I'm not sure what, because I've wiped it all down with a special solvent cleaner and tack cloths and everything. But Yeah, it's definitely reacting with something on there. But it's actually coming up really well. So this is just an epoxy primer undercoat, but it still needs a few more coats on there, and obviously I'm going to flat it all down, wet sand it and flat it. But yeah, apart from that bit that's reacted with something, I'm relatively happy with that. I'm going to give it a third coat in a little while. I'm obviously going to miss that bit there where it's reacted. Let's swing this around. Yeah, miss that bit where it's reacted. But yeah, I'm pretty chuffed with that. I've only got 5% left on the battery on the GoPro, so I'll see what I can get in there for this evening. But I will, depending on what the weather's like tomorrow, I'll probably carry on and do some more tomorrow. I'm really annoyed about that little bit there that's reacted. Oh well, we'll sort it out, it's not a problem. Right, okay, I've left that about 10-15 minutes, so I'm going to give that a third coat. I'm going to roll her over it with a third coat, and then I think that'll be it for tonight. Really annoyed about how that paint has reacted with something on that wing. Look. Yeah, I don't know what that is or why it's done that, but it's reacted with everywhere else on the van. Has come up actually really nice. Got a few lines on there from the roller and that, but like I say, I'm going to wet sand everything down. I actually really like the colour of this. This was let's have a look. Yeah, I really like the colour of that. You can with that, even though it is a primer, it's an epoxy, like I said before, it's an epoxy primer, but apparently you can flat that down and you can polish it to a gloss. So I think this may be my final colour. I wasn't going to reveal my final colour until it was done, but I was going to go with a Nardo Grey, but I actually really do like this colour. I'm still undecided, so right, anyway, let's give it a third coat anyway before it starts to get dark, and yeah. Okay, so we've gone forward a little bit in time. The end of the time lapse was last weekend, so this is now the following weekend. As you saw in the time lapse, I went round, I've rolled the bonnet and the upper half of the van. I've left it a week, I've been away on a course for work for a week, so yeah, I'm going to start wet sanding it down now, see how it looks. I did do a little patch here, only with some 400. As you can see, the van has it rained as soon as literally hours after I finished painting that night. It rained, so it hasn't damaged the paint at all. I have got some sort of watermarks on there which will hopefully sand out, we'll find out now. But yeah, I've got some 400, some 1500 and some 2500 grit paper, which I'm now going to wet sand the bonnet down just to see how it turns out. If I can get this flat and looking nice, I've got some new pads for my DA machine coming tomorrow, and some I can never pronounce this, Faricella G10, which is a finish and polish, so I can put that on the bonnet, see how it comes up. If it comes up with a nice gloss, then I will leave as it is, sand it all down and finish off with that polish. But we'll see how the bonnet turns out first. But let's have a look at the van quickly. Yeah, as you can see, this side has all been rolled now with about 3 or 4 coats, I think it was. I actually really like this colour, and I'm hoping that this colour does come up, either like a satin or a nice gloss when I've polished it, because I will keep it this colour. We've got a few marks sort of like here where it rains and the water run down, but they will rub down. I've started to rub it down a little bit there just to give it a try, and it does rub down. So we've got a mark here where I knocked it, and I've gone over it with some thicker paint, so that should flat down and match in. And obviously we've got the wing here which has reacted with something, so I'm going to rub that all down from this line here and redo that. There was some, I've done a previous repair here, because as you can see it's all along here as well, so I'm going to have to do all this as well. And down here there was a previous repair done here, and I think where I'd rubbed it back I'd exposed the primer that was behind it, and I think this epoxy has reacted with whatever was behind that. Anyway, rub it down. We'll rub it down and do it again. Right, I'm going to make a start on wet sanding this bonnet down, go to a time lapse and see how it turns out. Okay, so that hasn't turned out as well as I was hoping, unfortunately. I think where I had the watermarks in the paint, obviously I think I said before, didn't I, the day I painted that night it rained, and while it hasn't left watermarks, sort of indents in the paint, it's changed the colour, it's made the colour lighter, and I can't sand it out, it won't come out, no matter how much I sand it, or wet sand it down, it won't come out. You can still see like where the water has run down and where it's changed the colour of the final colour of the actual paint. So I'm a little bit miffed about that. There's a couple of places where I've sort of sanded down and I must have had low spots, because like on the ridges on the bonnet, it's come down. I did this side of the bonnet, I did go down as far as a 2500 grit, and it has, when it's damp, when it's wet, it actually brings up to quite a nice gloss. But when it dries out, it goes back to the to this colour here. It's hard to see now because it's getting dark. But yeah, that has still got to be rubbed right down. But I think what I might do, I might just use this stuff as intended and as a primer. So just get the van done in this primer, and then go over it with a coach enamel, roll it on with a coach enamel or Rust-Oleum paint. Bit of a shame, because I suppose I could have put the Rust-Oleum, all the other paint, straight on top of my existing paint, but I suppose now I've got a coat of epoxy primer on there, which is going to basically weatherproof the van, isn't it? Stop it from corroding and everything. So I won't do any more now until I find out about this this unit I'm getting. I can't risk it with the weather. You see what's happened with the, you know, with the effect that's had on the primer here when I've rained the night after I painted. My fault for doing it at this time of year. Not a clever idea. Anyways, I'm going to end this here. There's not much more I can do now, so I'll end this one here. And thanks everybody for liking and subscribing. Share, like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you on the next episode.